Hey everyone, this is Corine, your favorite radio host, your only radio host and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know how we do it here on Between the Lines. We are always showing gratitude or thankfulness. And I want to say to the birds I'm hearing outside, thank you for tweeting around me. I so appreciate you. And I thank God for being able to be here to witness and see the lushness of the green trees, the grass, and everything swaying right now in the beautiful weather. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you for Marc Johnston being here. He is going to be talking about, let me tell you what we're talking about today. Get your spouse back for good. Did you hear me say that? Get your spouse back for good. That's for those of you who want them back. Okay? We have to make sure and say that first.
Obviously,
And
yes.
let me tell you a bit about Marc. So over the past 15 years, Marc has helped thousands of clients make real changes in their lives and save their marriages. As a founder of High Thrive Coaching, he shares his secrets to reconnect with your spouse if you want them back and restore your marriage if you want it back, even if your spouse is checked out or waiting or wanting a divorce. His methods help clients improve their communication, restore trust, overcome addiction, move beyond affairs, and more. After spectacular failure, notice he used those two words, spectacular failure, and nearly losing everything, he has learned how to use failures in relationships and life as tools to springboard to success. And a little later down, as you know, if you're a follower of the show, you're going to be seeing his website, and we're going to be showing what he does there and what he can offer you and how you can contact him. You know the drill. So welcome, Marc, to Between the Lines.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Yes. First to begin, let's pretend, and we're going to role play here as we have this discussion. So we are married, okay? Me and you, Mr. and Mrs. Johnston here.
All right.
For today. Just for today. I mean, we could get divorced after, but I mean, well, no, let's not go
I'm going to
there.
ask my own wife about that.
We could go through counseling. So let's pretend. So we are married and we're having issues. What kind of issues may be leading to divorce, or somebody throwing divorce in there? Who normally throws in the divorce? Would it be me or would it be you?
Well, we actually see a wide variety. We see both men and women asking for divorce. There's not any universal, one gender or the other. The typical problems that we are seeing, like it ranges widely all the different problems. It might be that one partner doesn't feel like they're valued or respected, or another partner might have felt like they've lost connection over years. We also have a lot of clients who are dealing with things like affairs or infidelity, things like that. And these are all everyday, normal sort of problems that we deal with my company.
But Mark, we're married. You marry a sexy black woman like myself, and you are going to cheat on me? Come on, Mark. What would make you want to cheat on me now?
Well, of course, I would never cheat on you, obviously, but in many cases, uh, what it comes down to is that the person who's cheating, there are fundamental needs that are not being met and not being addressed. So I have, I can think of one particular client even right now where he's like, I still value my marriage, but he's had some affairs. And as I get to talking to him, he frequently feels as though his wife just kind of bowls over him or is very demanding on him and hasn't really taken care of herself. And so he's trying to seek out a relationship where someone will listen to him and actually, respect what he has to say. And so very, very frequently, these sort of situations are coming from unmet needs, even if the person having the affair isn't really sure what those needs are.
Now, I am hearing when you say unmet needs, the basis and foundation of that is communication and being able to be vulnerable to each other. I am married to you, Mark. You are married to me. I mean, we were courting. We courted. We used to see each other. You visit me, I visit you. We go to dinners. We have our little escapades. And I used to feel okay to share things with you. How come after we get married, I feel uncomfortable to talk to you or show you a part of my body or be vulnerable to you or not be able to express myself? Why have I lost my voice? Why am I not allowed to have a voice? Or maybe I am having a voice and it's being shut down. I don't know, but we didn't have this problem when everything was blissful between me and you, and everybody saw us as the perfect couple, and we thought it would have been life forever. What has happened when you put that ring on my finger? What?
Well, I think getting to that point, many couples are usually on their best behavior. They're like, okay, I need to impress this person. I'm going to dress up nice, and I'm going to, maybe you did your makeup and you dress well, and I put on my nice clothes when we would go out or something like that. And over time, couples get comfortable, and two, they start to settle into patterns for solving problems that become problematic. As in, let's give an example. Let's say that we were to have kids, and my job responsibilities increase, so my stress increases, and so when I come home, I get into a pattern of saying, I need some time to myself, and I don't communicate this very well. And you say, well, I need to connect with you, and you don't communicate this very well, and so we end up having all this tension that we just settle into, and we get further and further into this pattern that gets more and more unhealthy. And so this is what I think happens as people get married and as these problems develop, is these patterns that may work on the short term, people tend to just lean on them heavier and heavier and heavier until they turn into these big, big issues.
Well, here's the thing. You mentioned something about spending the time to do the makeup and the whatever. You see, the thing about me and you, Mark, when we were courting, you knew me with no makeup. I came to you like this, natural beauty, okay, natural beauty, and I'm not planning to change in the marriage. So I am not going to be doing the makeup thing before, during, or after. So what I'm saying to you is, the whole dress up and the facade that happens prior, and the woman doesn't keep up or the man doesn't keep up, For me personally, I believe going into anything, somebody needs to accept you for you, who you are going into it. This is what you're going with. Now if I decide in the marriage I feel to put on a little lipstick, or I feel to probably do my hair differently, that would be like a bonus, because I normally don't. So that might appeal to you and keep things fresh, as opposed to not doing anything at all, and you are used to seeing me a particular way. So it brings a little spice to and difference in the relationship, that as we go along. But what I want to find out from you is, you're talking about getting the man back or getting the woman back for good.
Mhm.
What are some of the tools that you have been using that would allow people to get them back? And of course, as I said many times, that would be on the basis that you want them back. Or sometimes you may think, or one party or both parties may think, I don't want him back at all. War of the roses, murder him, bury him in the backyard. What are some of the things that you would do to bring that couple back together?
Well, I always start off with trying to gain some understanding. Like I talked about these patterns that people settle into, and a lot of what I do as some first steps is I'm trying to evaluate what each partner is trying to get out of these interactions. A lot of times, like, I might have a client who says, okay, I want to get my partner back, but they haven't actually taken the time to think about, why is my partner leaving in the first place? What is it that they are trying to accomplish? And when we get right down to that, whether that is this partner, this husband or wife wants more freedom, or they want some more respect, or they want to be able to step away from a lot of the stress of having to care for someone else. When we can start to provide that a little bit, this necessity to part, to separate, or to divorce really calms down. From there, it becomes a lot easier to, what I tell a lot of my clients is, we try to establish common goals, or acceptable goals. So maybe the partner that's leaving isn't going to accept the goal of, we're going to reconcile, but they might be a lot more willing to accept this goal of, let's just make sure that we improve our communication for the sake of the kids. Let's try to be good friends, because we still like each other in some way. When we do things like that, and we actually set the new expectations for the relationship, we stop pushing that partner away. We stop causing all these little bits of damage that keep them on that track towards separation or divorce. And from there, it becomes a lot easier to insert some better, more healthier habits, and to draw the other partner back in. So I almost always start with, like I said, the understanding. We try to eliminate the damage, and then we try to build up the relationship from there. But a lot of this has to do with, as I said, setting expectations, setting common goals, and fostering some understanding.
What I'm picking up from you is that you remove the attention from the individual and focus on the other issues. So it's not about like me attacking you, Mark, or Corine. It's about, what can we agree on that we could fix external to us, which would obviously impact us individually and as a couple anyway. But instead of the attacking mode of Mark this or Corine that, you remove that personal attack. That's what I'm picking up. Am I correct in saying so?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the clients that come in to see me, they're stuck in the space of, like, I'm focusing on my own pain, and I want to kind of take away that a little bit, and focus in on, a big thing is, I help my clients see things from their partner's perspective, or to just let go of a lot of that hurt. And when we do that, it becomes much easier to evaluate what's going on, and to not be caught up so much in all the emotion of the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned, like in your bio, I'm recalling you had what you call it, a spectacular failure. Share a bit about that, and what are the lessons you took away from that can help couples?
Absolutely. So if we go back in time, about 10 years ago, so I was at that time, I was trying to finish up I was trying to finish up graduate school. I was studying clinical psychology. I had just had my third child. My wife and I have 5 children now. And so I was trying to go to school full time. I was going to work full time, and I was raising a family. And honestly, I let the stress get a hold of me. And so um, I got to the point where I was 2 weeks away from graduating with my master's degree after 7 years in school, after high school, and I got called in front of the director of my program, and she tells me, we're dismissing you from the program. Like I said, I'd made some mistakes. Do I think that I should have been dismissed? Probably not. Looking back, I actually don't think it was a fair decision, but it was what it was. So I had my whole life planned ahead of me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a job as a therapist, and I'm gonna help people, and now I'm gonna have this income that I didn't have because we were really struggling financially, trying to raise our family, my wife and I. And then I had nothing. I had nothing in front of me. I ended up settling on working at a warehouse, and I would get, nothing against warehouse workers, but I was getting up at 4 in the morning and working 2 jobs, doing manual labor to make ends meet. And this was absolutely not what I had planned for my life after working so hard on these things. And I thought for a bit here. I worked that job for a little while, and I thought to myself, oh, this doesn't have to be, just because other people have prescribed this path for me, doesn't mean that I have to take that. I had my program director. She told me that I would never work in this industry again, and I just kind of accepted that as a fact. Just like many of my clients, their spouses, this can never work. We can never get better. We can't heal, and I don't like coming to that conclusion, saying, that's fine. Okay, we'll just go with what's said here. So my wife is amazing, and she supported me through building up a business for myself, and getting into coaching. So I was able to use the education that I did have and help people just like I wanted to. And turns out that I'm pretty good at it. Not to pat myself on the back here, but I think I do pretty well. And I've created now a successful business with a good team of people under me. But I used this big failure where I thought basically my career was over and my education was worthless, and use that as a way to really motivate me to do something different, to get past all that. And I don't think I would be in this position had this not happened to me. I think I would have followed a typical line of being a typical therapist, and I wouldn't have excelled at all. And I'm now making something like triple what I would have made had I gone down that path.
Yeah. And in going through that, what are some of the tips based on that example, your personal experience, that you would give to couples who may be going through the same thing, have a plan for their life, and things just start going downwards from there? What are some tips you can share with them?
So one of the things that I would share with people is to not just accept failure at face value. For me, it ended up being a highly educational experience. I looked at why I failed and used the lessons from that to become a better person. And oftentimes I use this with the people I work with. We say, okay, your husband or your wife is saying our marriage is over. Here's a big failure in these people's lives. So what kind of lessons do we take from this experience? And I love going down that route because it takes people out of the mindset of, okay, this is a failure and then that's it, now I'm done, and this is a terrible thing, to, okay, there's something positive I can take from this.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I like when you said that if you had probably continued on the path of your plan, you would
Mhm.
not have probably ended up where you are, much more successful and better. Like I said to a friend of mine, when things happen and we may feel, oh my God, how could this happen? I planned this and I planned. There is always a better plan, and these things are just the spanner that is thrown in the wheel. It comes to disrupt whatever you think your plan is in order to provide you a better plan, another alternative. So it's just to go with it. It's just to go with it. And working in the warehouse brought you the humility that you probably needed to
Yeah.
to come back to the person that you are today, because humility is extremely important as a quality, not only in an individual but in marriage, where two separate individuals have to come together to coexist. Okay,
Exactly.
to coexist. If siblings have challenges, if siblings born to the same parents quarrel and fight and whatever with each other, can you imagine with two different people coming from two different parents, two different backgrounds, I mean everything? What do people expect, really? What do people expect?
My wife and I
Yeah.
have had our own struggles and our own complications. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, even
Yeah,
that
go ahead
experience
while
we
I'm
had.
looking for. Yeah.
What was that? I think we have a little bit of an audio delay.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so
You go
like I
ahead.
was saying,
Yeah, there's a bit
my
of a
wife
delay,
and
but you go
I
ahead.
have had our own problems, and even, including what I just described right there. That was a really hard time for my wife as well. And we've taken this same philosophy or the same approach to our own marriage, and we're like, okay, we're really struggling right now. We're really having a big fight right now. What do we need to learn from this in order to get past this, in order to be a better husband and wife? And it's really
Mm-hmm.
served us well. I would say, um, you know, like my wife and I, we have not we have a relationship. I think that is very envious. Like we have an amazing, amazing marriage, one where I absolutely adore her and I look forward to spending time with her. But it's because we have taken these struggles and we keep learning new things about each other, and we keep applying the lessons that we learned to our marriage.
That is a dream of every woman to hear. Those words that you just mentioned about you absolutely adore her, you look forward to seeing her, it's blissful, those type of things. That is all, a woman would want in a marriage or in a relationship. That is
Mhm.
like you're the center of the person's universe, each other, and you do things together, you build, you enjoy each other. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
we
all
not
that it
only
is.
we not only enjoy each other, but like I know that each of us are a better person because the other person is because we're in each other's lives.
That,
And this is so
that's
it's
right. You're adding that value. Yes.
yes.
Yeah. You're adding that value, making the happiness more. So you were already happy and she was already happy by, on your own, but coming together, it has blossomed that even more, brought more joy, more bliss, more happiness. So we're
Exactly.
here on your website, High Thrive Coaching. Save your
Mhm.
marriage, find balance and happiness, and fall in love again. Oh my goodness. Fall in love again. Tell us a bit about this website. Help me to navigate. Where should I go? Is there anything free for persons to get access to? What sort of resources do you offer? Where can they check out your services? How can they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we do offer is we do offer a free consultation, so we can so you
Mm-hmm.
can see if our program is a good fit for you, if it's going to actually help you out. If you're looking at that website right now, you
Mm-hmm.
can actually see right there it says book a free consultation. Even beyond that, we
That's
understand that
right.
not everyone is ready to make that big investment. And so we do, if you go up to that courses link at the top, there's several different online courses, videos, and worksheets that you can
Mm-hmm.
access just to like dip your toes in the water. One of the things that I think we've really done well with High Thrive Coaching is that we offer a ton of support for our clients. So when someone does work with us, we're meeting on a very regular basis. But on top of that, we have me and my team, we have a group coaching call every day of the week where anyone can come in, any of the members can come in and ask some questions and get some support. So if I just had a fight with my wife, I could go in that afternoon and say, hey, I just had this fight with my wife. What do I do about this? And then they can get some immediate support one-on-one with one of the coaches. So we have the one-on-one coaching and the group coaching and all the video trainings and worksheets, and it makes for a really comprehensive support package.
Nice. So I'm on the coaching page here. Okay, it says attention, made through sales. Okay, clients have to book an appointment through this link. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just reading that little note there. All right, and you have some FAQs. All right. This is awesome. And of course, you have a podcast.
Yes, the other thing, exactly, the podcast. Lots of free content in there. So I've been running that for about 1.5 years now. You can see we're on episode 88. I think we just did 89 earlier today. So I'm gonna be honest in that the podcast is kind of a higher level, as in like a high level overview. We don't go super in depth, but if you look at it over time, we do cover a lot of topics and we give some really good advice. It's harder to go in depth into specific problems unless I'm talking with you specifically, but we have a ton of episodes in there, and a lot of people say that they get a lot of value just from listening to our weekly podcast.
Oh, so this would be a great place for people to start and get a feel and start doing some introspective work on themselves.
We also have our Facebook group is the Thriving Marriage. Very active community. I think I'm needing to look that up, but I think we're around 50,000 members now. Oh, no, I'm sorry, about 40,000 members. And very active group. And I guess
so these are social links.
Yeah, we put our podcast in there, but also we have a really active discussion going on pretty constantly there.
Awesome. Let me check out your blog here. So besides the podcast, which is free, you also have some blogs for persons who like to read. Yes. Save marriage on your own. So if they want to try it themselves. Yes.
Yep. I'll be honest, we haven't been focusing as much on the blog lately, but it is kind of like a general overview of some of the topics that we go over in the podcast. There's some overlap, but it's still a good resource.
Of course, it's relevant information. Whether it was done last week or last year, it's relevant.
Sure.
And just to know a bit about you. So that's your lovely wife. Yeah.
Well, you can see, a lot of people make the mistake.
I mean the next one. I was first, and then she came after. Yeah. Okay.
No. This is actually these are two different couples. So the one on the left there is my business partner Heather and her husband Ben, and the other one is me and my wife.
I thought it was you. I thought it was her. I thought it was both of you.
Yeah, a lot of people make that mistake. Yeah. They're like, Heather and I do the podcast together. They think we're married, but no, no. I've been married to my wife. It'll be 16 years in a couple weeks.
No, I think what I'm seeing that is common is just the love in both pictures. You're just seeing that adoration. And so I thought it was the same. Oh my goodness! So this one is you, and this is another couple. Awesome.
Yeah, the one on the left, that's my business partner, Heather, and her husband.
Yeah. Your wife has such a big smile. Look at her. Oh my goodness.
She's always very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, she has such a big. You can hardly see her eyes. Look at it. It's just like a line. She doesn't. She doesn't even have any eyes when she's smiling. Oh my goodness. But this is nice. And it's good when you're doing something that you enjoy, you're passionate about, that you've been through, and because it's through your experience, you are able to relate with others, and they're able to relate to you. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is important. That is important. Wow, this is awesome. Well, we are at the end of the episode. Is there any final words you want to use to wrap up before we go?
Well, yeah, I'd like to just say that a lot of situations, people might consider their own marriage struggles to be hopeless. Like maybe their spouse is saying, "Okay, we're ready for a divorce," and I found that
Yeah.
very few situations are truly hopeless. And so I encourage people to really examine what resources are out there. Certainly we like to help in that arena, but examine what resources are out there, because if your marriage is really that important to you, it's worth taking some time to see who can help you get that back. Like I said, we certainly would love to help people,
Yeah.
but if not us, then there are certainly many other great experts out there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been great having you on Between the Lines. And it's such a topical issue right now about divorce. I mean, it has always been topical, but it has become more prevalent, I think, now, especially given the pandemic and spouses having to stay under the same roof and spend more time. A lot of latent issues came up. So, these kind of discussions are very important for couples, whether you're married or not. It's just very important for couples, and especially those who are thinking of getting married. It's very important to address these issues even before you decide to tie the knot. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Marc Johnston, for being on Between the Lines.
It was my pleasure.